Alright, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahawashi, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is the brother Ira from the James Jamaica camp. Come with another quick lesson. And this lesson, is gonna be an exhortation onto the flock in regards to dying in the Lord. Um the unbelievers, they are going to be punished for their sins, when if it's a case that they die on when they die on this side, it's going to be horrible deaths. It's going to be through famine, right? It's going to be through pestilence and the sword. They're going to be suffering, right? Whilst with the hopeful elect, right, even the martyrs, they're going to be persecuted, or we're going to be persecuted, because we don't know who is who. But for those who will die, the death is going to come through the means of the persecution is going to be us being tried and proven. On one hand, yes, we're suffering for the sins, or being punished for the sins that we have committed in this life and even our past lives. But another aspect of it is that we're being proven. Therefore, with our death comes the reward, which is the glory of ruling. The glory that comes with being a part of the elect. All right. So most of these people are dying. They're dying for their own lust. They're dying for their belly. They're dying for food. They're dying to protect themselves. But ultimately, the martyrs, they're dying and being persecuted for the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. They're being persecuted for righteousness. And that is what is being proven, and that is what the Lord is actually testing, our character, to see if it's a case that, regardless of what happens, if we're gonna stay true to righteousness. Even with the serum right now and all these things taking place, all the way up to the end, that's what it's gonna be about. That is why this Yahawashi says what? He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Right? But this is focusing mainly on the martyrs, right? So in the event that we do find ourselves in that group, whosoever it may be, right? This is something that we need to bear in mind. So I'll start with 1 Thessalonians 4:13. It says, "But I would not have you ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep," meaning those that die, right? And that died in Yahawashi, those that die in the truth. It says that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Exactly, because those that die without the hope of Yahawashi, at the end of the day, they just died. They'll come back in the kingdom, but it's not in the same glory as the elect. Yes, all Israel shall be saved, and they will be partakers of the blessing. But the elect, we're Lord willing, we have that number. We're gonna be on a higher level. Right? It says, "For if we believe that the Messiah, that Yahawashi died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahawashi will the Most High bring with him." So they'll be coming back on the chariots with Yahawashi, and we will be coming back if it's a case that we are for those that are in that group. If we are in that group, or if I'm in that group, then I'll be coming back with Yahawashi. You would be coming back with Yahawashi, right? It says, "For this we say unto you, that by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep." Exactly. They being alive, or dying in the Lord doesn't mean that you don't get to take part. You won't be able to partake of the glory. It doesn't mean that you won't be a part of the elect, right? Because one of the questions that even I had at one point, when I was thinking upon this, is the fact that you have the unbelievers that are going to die, and you have martyrs. So what's going to be the main difference? And the fact is, die for Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi's name's sake. Right? It says, "For the Lord himself shall descend from the heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in the Messiah shall rise first. Exactly. Right? And they which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. And that's the thing. We're going to be on those chariots, looking down at the sea of glass, which is pretty much, above the ozone layer, watching the earth burn as the missiles actually, fall. Right? So if it's a case that we find ourselves being martyrs, the fact that we die in Yahawashi, that comes with glory. And that is the difference between a man that dies in the truth and a man that actually, and someone that, dies, in their unrighteousness and their wickedness, being punished, for the evils that they have done. Right? For those who haven't repent, or for those who fall off. Right? Let me get my next precept. Well, let me start with. Let me go here. This is Matthew 16, and I'll start at verse 24. Then said Yahawashi unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Exactly, because we're going to be persecuted for righteousness' sake. This world is built upon wickedness and darkness. So regardless of how many righteous acts you do or how righteously we live, we're not going to win on this side. We're going to constantly lose, and that is why we should endure. Right? And that's why you should always have faith in Yahawashi. But at the end of the day, we will win on the other side. Right? Regardless if we die or not. Right? It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Exactly. If you take, the charagma, if you to save your life, you're going to lose it. Even as I said at camp today, that look, most people, even if they take the charagma, to save their wife or their children, or their family, it's not that they're saving their family. It's really them saving their life, because they don't want to feel, the sorrow or the loss, or the feeling that comes with the loss of those things, So really, it's about them more than even about sparing their lives. Right? So it's really, indirectly, it's about them. Right? It says, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world? Oh, Salakia, verse 25. Right, it says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. All right, so that is the thing. Why did you lose your life? What were you standing for when you lost your life? Was it you standing for righteousness? Was you standing for Yahawashi? Or was it a case that you were fighting for food, or you were writing, or you were, trying to deliver yourself, or whatever the case may be? Was it to maintain a spot in this man's society, Esau, Edom, or was it all for righteousness' sake? Right, as it says right here, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Exactly. Because as even that video, where the guy from IUIC said that he felt that his faith left him. He knows that he messed up. Pretty much knew that he messed up. All right. It says, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. So there is a reward for standing up for righteousness, right? So once we die in Yahawashi, once we die for righteousness' sake, then there is a reward. But if you die, as a form of punishment, then, that's you dying for your own sins, right? Verily, verse 28 says, verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man come in his kingdom. Exactly. Because so as we read in First Thessalonians just now, Paul says, that we which are still alive in the Lord will not prevent them that sleep in the Lord. So some of us are gonna die, but some of us are gonna live till we see the Lord coming. But guess what? Regardless if you die in the Lord or not, we're still gonna we're getting that reward, because we died in Yahawashi. All right. Next precept is Matthew 5 verse 10. It says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Right? Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Says, why you're being persecuted? Why is it that you're being put to death? That is key. Once it's for Yahawashi, there is a reward to get. It says, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted the prophets which were before you. Exactly. So there we have it. Dying in the Lord has its perks, it has its rewards. All right. So don't worry about the fact that just the unbelievers die, and the martyrs die. So what's different? Because some people think carnally, about something like that. Some people is like, look, we're all gonna die, but they don't understand that it's not as simple or as carnal as they would have it. Next precept is 1 Peter 4 verse 12. It says, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of the Messiah's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If ye be reproached for the name of the Messiah, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and of the Most High rested upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified." Right? So that's the thing, that is what it's like to suffer for the Messiah. But look at the contrast, right? Verse 15, "But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other man's matters. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on this behalf." All right. So there you have an example of suffering for the Messiah, or suffering for some unrighteous cause or some unrighteous sake. The unbelievers, they're suffering for an unrighteous and a wicked cause, right? Let me continue right down. It says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High, and if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Messiah?" Exactly. So there's going to be persecution, but on our part, we are being tried. We are being proven. For them, it's just straight up punishment, right? It says, "And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator." All right? So let us suffer according to the will of the Most High. If you're dying, die according to the will of the Most High. Right? Because what's what we commit to the Most High, to the keeping of our souls, in well-doing. Right? So we have to have faith in that, that even if we die, there is a reward to get. That doesn't make us not a part of the elect. Right? Because we died in the Lord. Next precept is Revelation 14 verse 13. It says, I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. All right? So, if we endure unto the end, if we keep on laboring in this ministry, in all sincerity and truth, if we strive for this truth unto death, our works will follow us. All right? The key thing about it is dying for the sake of Yahawashi, dying in the Lord Yahawashi. Right? Let me get a quick precept right here as well. So this is 2 Ezra 2 verse 7. So like 2 Ezra 7 verse 17. It says, Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things. And if you are familiar with 2 Ezra, the 7th chapter, it talks about the the river being narrow and the sea being wide, and also a kingdom being set on a hill, but it's a dangerous part. One can go at a time. Danger on the right hand, and fire on one side and water on the next. And how shall we obtain if we don't go through, the straight and narrow, or through the danger set before it? That is us being proven that, we are worthy to receive the kingdom through the spirit and power of Yahawashi. Because really and truly, we can never really do anything. It's through mercy and grace, right? It says, then I answered and said, O Lord, thou bearest rule, that was ordained thy law, that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. All right. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things. So yes, even though, even us of the hopeful elect, we will suffer straight things. But we believe that Yahawashi will strengthen us to make it through, right? And give us a spirit, to endure unto the end. Right, and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. Exactly. They're going to suffer as well. They're going to have punishment as well. But guess what? They won't be ruling in the kingdom of heaven. The elect will be ruling in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Verse 19 says, and he said unto me, there is no God, there is no judge above the Most High, and none that had understanding above the highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of the Most High that is set before them. Right? So we don't want to die or perish because we despise the law. If we're going to be persecuted, if we're going to die, we're going to die because we're standing stiffly for Yahawashi. Right? Verse 21 says, for the Most High had given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. And that's what us, the hopeful elect, are trying to follow to the best of our ability, because we're trying to avoid punishment. Right? We're actually trying to, what we're trying to seek is life. We're, through Yahawashi, the life everlasting, we're trying to take hold of eternal life. All right? So we're, to the best of our ability, we're trying to follow these scriptures. Right? Verse 22, nevertheless, they that were obedient unto him, but spake against him, nevertheless they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things. Exactly. That is why when you speak to the unbelievers, this is the attitude that they give us. They speak against the Most High, they speak about against the commandments, and they think that this setup is going to continue forever, and they don't believe that they take the words and of the scriptures to be a thing of naught. Right? It says, and deceive themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. That is why most people are taking the job, because they're saying, look, without the job, I have no job. Right? Should I really sit down and say the Lord will provide? How will the Lord provide it? How will he do this? How will he do that? If we say we don't know, we're going to tell them we don't know, but it's written that his servant shall eat. That is not sufficient for them. That is not sufficient unto them. If you say, look, why aren't we getting guns, and why aren't we stuck hoarding up food and doing all of this thing, because guess what, we know that the Lord will protect us, because at the end of the day we may do all of that and still we don't see any of it. We may have to flee from it or whatever the case, but we don't know how the Lord is going to do it. It's all through faith. But they don't want to hear that. They think that's stupid and foolish. Just like how they thought that, what Noah was doing was stupid and foolish. Verse 24, but his law have they despised, and denied his covenants. In his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. Exactly. They don't want to walk according to this word, according to the best of their ability. They see that as vain. They don't believe in the prophecies to come. A couple of years back, there was a voice note going around about, men of, I think it was about men of GMS. They were saying that, look, so when the charagma is implemented, and it's the only way to buy food or whatever, it's just another means of purchasing. Who's going to sit down and watch their families die of hunger? Who's going to sit by idly and not partake of this, and suffer hunger and suffer being an outcast of society, basically. right? But it's them that rely upon Yahawashi. They are the ones who are going to do it. We that are of the hopeful elect. All right. Let me get one more precept, to show that the war is different. This is what was that precept? Oh, right. Wisdom of Solomon 3. This is Wisdom of Solomon 3 verse 1. It says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them." That's the first thing. We have to be trusting that we're in the hands of Yahawashi. Right? It says, "In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery." And that's a sentiment that it's gonna be according to the when it comes on to the martyrs. They're gonna be like, look, why did they die? If their God was with them, and if what they are saying is righteous and true, and if righteousness prevails above all, and truth prevails above all, how is it that they were persecuted and died? And it's the same thing that they said to Yahawashi, if thou be the Son of the Most High, come down off the cross, or let the Lord deliver you. In their eyes, it seemed like Yahawashi was well, if you look at it carnally, you would have said that the most perfect man that walked the earth lost. But yes, carnally he lost, but spiritually he won, because he gained the kingdom and what was prophesied, that was promised to him of his father. So verse 2 makes perfect sense. It says, "In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery." That's what they'll actually think about the martyrs, and that's what they'll actually say to you, before you die, trying to get us to doubt. But we know, we have examples of the 3 Hebrew boys. We have the example of the of Eleazar. We have examples of the 7 sons. Even though those people well, not the 3 Hebrew boys, they didn't die, but they could have died, right? But for those like Eleazar and the 7 sons, they died, but their report and what they said before they died showed that, look, there was greatness and glory and a reward to come, and they knew it was to be true, right? It says, "And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality." Exactly, they have eternal life, right? It says, "Having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself." Exactly, it's all about us being proved. But with the ungodly, it's straight up punishment and destruction, and the glory which is to come in the kingdom, the glory of the elect, they will not have that. Right? It says what? It says, verse 4, "For though they be punished in the sight of men." Right? And verse 5 says what? For it says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. We are being proven. As gold is in the furnace, as gold in the furnace, had he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. That is Yahawashi. Right? He says, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he had care for his elect. And that is what us of the hopeful elect have trust in. Right? Verse 10, and see, there's a difference. The hopeful elect will be rewarded. Right? But let's see the contrast of the unbelievers. "But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain. Their labors are unfruitful, and their works unprofitable." Because all that they're trying to do to maintain in this corruptible society, to hold on to this wicked life, to hold on to this wicked world, it's going to be unprofitable in the end. Right? It says, "Their wives are foolish, and their children wicked. Their offspring is cursed. Wherefore blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which hath not known the sinful bed. She shall have fruit in the visitation of her souls." Right? I think I'll just leave it right there. All right. So at verse 11, right, it says, for whosoever despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain, their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. Pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, hopefully let the martyrs that die in Yahawashi, that is the key thing. So even if we die, we want to pray for the spirit that, we die in Yahawashi, right? And if we endure, we want to endure to the end for righteousness' sake, for the sake of Yahawashi in our righteousness. All right. So with that, hope this was edifying. Once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom.